Strike, burn it all down says, don't tease us. Tell us all about Star Trek.
Yes, let's do that. Tom, you've heard news.
Well, this is a short update.
So everyone gather around. Our Star Trek coverage has been pretty on the mark, especially as of late, where we exclusively were able to scoop the official announcement of Section 31 by a good 2 weeks. So, Tom, what do you have for us today?
Well, it seems like it's that time of the season for a Star Trek 4 announcement. Because Andreas, he'll remind you like every, 4 to 6 months.
Every so often.
After a director leaves, we get a new one, just like the old one, who comes in. We're up to 5 now, I think, on Star Trek 4.
I've lost count. I will just say that we have gotten regular Star Trek 4 announcements on and off since summer of 2016.
Wow. I think we're up to 5 now, but let's make that an even 6 or whatever you want to call it, because we're getting Star Trek Forever. That's what it's going to be called. So it's almost like unironic that they're calling it that, because it's going to be forever before we probably finally see it. So again, take this with a grain of salt, kids. This is a rumor. But the 4th film in the Kelvin timeline is called Star Trek Forever. It will be overseen by Secret Hideout and Not Bad Robot. And it looks like it may be being produced for Paramount Plus. And here's the beauty, kids. It's already written. So they don't have to worry about writers.
Yeah, because nothing gets rewritten while it's being shot.
No, well, in this case, that's what it sounds like. Whiz Bang Films and Take 5 Productions are also companies behind it. The individual, though, this is the news here. The individual, or the victim this time around, will be Chris Byrne, or Byrne, however you say it.
Chris Byrne would be the director then of Star Trek Forever.
That's the next patient in line, I guess. And you may have heard of him before. He has worked on things like he's worked on. Let's see here.
I recognize the name. I can't place it though.
I see him mostly. This is an actor. I don't think this is the right guy.
Maybe he's not the director, but he's somehow attached to it.
Well, here we got some. No, this is the guy right here. I got it. Because he's worked with Brian Fuller and on Star Trek Discovery before. So there you go. And Strange New Worlds. He's been a director on a couple of the series. Guess who else he's worked with on Clarice? So chances are this is our guy.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm kind of believing this more than I did when I first heard it.
Yeah. He would be part of the family.
Fart catcher.
Yeah. Hannibal he's worked on as well. See, he's cross-pollinated between these two.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep, he's a fart catcher.
Would you care to elaborate on that term, fart catcher, for those of us who aren't former TA Network executives?
That's
I guess is a term that you would throw around in your circles. Please define for us Webster's definition of fart catcher.
Well, as you know, the exhalation of that noxious gas comes from a certain part of the human anatomy, and it's very hard to catch. So you have to be behind someone all the time, hands cupped, walking, getting ready for that moment, just so you can catch that predation. So you have to be very obsequious.
So this is someone who is very committed in his career, we could put it that way.
Correct.
That is very committed and very strategic, and someone that will have been trailing both Alex Kurtzman and a few other select people,
maybe
in that
JJ,
general sphere, very closely, very closely.
So that's the explanation, and I bet you haven't heard the word predation on this channel in weeks.
No, I was starting to think you were Culture Casino there for a minute, using all these fancy words.
He's good with the fancy words.
He is good with fancy words.
No, I'm plain spoken, simple.
Boy, you talk prettier than a $2 hooker.
Okay.
But let's be expeditious and move on a little bit here.
That was from Blazing Saddles. But yeah, so that's the news, kids. Again, this guy, I'm sure he'll last a little longer than the rest, maybe, especially if it's meant to be straight for streaming. So what's your guys' reactions to this? Do you believe the news? Yeah.
Well, is it going to be Chris Pine starring in it?
Yeah, it would technically be that cast, I would imagine.
Yeah. But straight to Paramount Plus seems to be a huge amount of effort for not a lot of results. That makes no sense.
That might be. I have a reason to think they might be doing this. I wonder if that means they have to renegotiate the contracts. Maybe
that they will have to do, because that's been like a sticking point there for a very long time now already. So they may not be able to get Chris Pine, of course. Considering how like Dungeons and Dragons fell apart, Chris Pine might be more.
Well, what I mean, Andre, is they might, since it's not going to be a theatrical release, wouldn't it be a completely different contract altogether? That's what I'm getting at.
Well, the previous contract should have been long since expired by now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to have to get everyone together. So I think the casting is going to be the big challenge here. But in terms of who's involved with it, like this Byrne fella, this fart catcher, I was about to say fart knocker, but that was something else.
Yeah.
But it does ring true. And you know who it reminds me of? Those two numbnuts whose name I've forgotten. The guys who did The Ranks of Power. They were also
gosh, what's their names?
McKay.
Yeah, exactly. Those two dudes, the guys that wrote the very first version of Star Trek for it to never happen, incidentally. They're also such thought catchers, as you describe them.
Andre, you like this term.
No, I'm just quick on the uptake. Yeah, thank you, Professor Etienne. J.B. Payne and Patrick McKay.
Yeah. I absolutely do not think that the four main stars would want to have something that isn't played in the theaters right now. They would mix it.
You might be right, but I think if they give him close to enough, and here's what I think is going to happen. I think that at least one of the individuals is not going to come back, and it ain't Chris Pine. He'll be there, because they'll make sure they pay him. They'll make sure they got Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, and the guy, I can never remember his name.
Zoe Saldana?
Carl Urban.
Zoe won't show up, though. She'll be too expensive. She'll either get recast or she will just be not there.
It'll be very easy for her and Spock to have broken up, so she's off at another ship right now.
Because she'll be off filming Avatar 6 anyway.
Yeah.
Unless she dies in the second one and I didn't know it. Spoilers if anybody knows. I have no idea. But I think that's probably the case. I think you're right on that, Paul.
There's no way.
I get what you're saying, but I think you're right more so on the fact that he has been struggling as of late to have a successful film outside of anything. His last successful film probably would have been Wonder Woman, if you think about it. And Dungeons and Dragons was his new shot at something different, and it didn't quite pan out.
Yeah, but
and it would have reduced his calling price.
True. Well, it takes maybe more than one movie to do that, actually.
We might not know that maybe perhaps there was a deal in the Dungeons and Dragons thing that came with Star Trek as a part of the contract. We don't know. Because if his other contract was expired and they decided to do it on Disney Plus or Paramount Plus like this, and the info, when it comes out, we'll find out more how far along they are. But to me, this sounds like something they're rushing into production because they got a finished script. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, they have to rush it before the directors go on strike.
Yeah, that too.
They just don't want another Black Widow incident.
Yeah. Well, and I know Carl Urban and Zachary Quinto would be easier to get. I mean, you might be right on Pine, but even if they got to recast him, I don't see that especially for Paramount Plus. They'll probably just use the guy they're using on Strange New Worlds, I bet.
Probably.
Oh, him, right. I got you what you mean. Yeah. But Urban is just a fantastic McCoy.
Yeah, they can't, when he's affordable enough. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Harbin is a chameleon.
The only other one I could see not coming back would be what's his face, Simon Pegg. Sorry, go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, Simon Pegg. He's not coming back.
I just see him as being too loyal to JJ and stuff like that, to where, and he probably would have a little bit more of an asking price.
Well, this is still in the family, so
technically, yes.
And what's happened to Simon Pegg? He was pretty cool back in the Hot Fuzz days, and even his movie Paul. And then after that, it's like nothing. I mean, was not a fan of his Scotty.
Was he in the last few Mission Impossible movies?
Star Trek Beyond did a number on him because he wrote that movie.
Right, that was terrible.
It was one of the biggest flops in history. It didn't do any wonders for his career.
Then again, you're right. He might be there because he might be attached as like a producer or some shit for all we know.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Again, he's part of the family, so we'll just have to wait and see.
But I mean, he's been a part of The Boys and some other things. He's been working. It just looks like a lot more TV than anything.
Was he behind the scenes on The Boys?
Yes.
He's Hugh's dad on 6 episodes.
Yeah.
All right.
He actually did a voice for Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh.
So he's been working the whole time.
It's no. I'm sure he has work.
But Star Trek Beyond did something to limit his massive.
Yeah,
appeal.
Since then he hasn't really done anything that I would consider necessarily A-list.
Well, but we are regrettably losing cultured here. But I know.
Yeah,
that you
speaking of Mission Impossible, he's
an A-list.
Yeah, and look, I think Simon Pegg just needs to get back into the flow of the things he used to do and not try to expand what he does. Sometimes it's okay to fit in a pigeonhole. Sometimes it's okay to be the smarmy, funny guy, right? And he again, you learn that through the course of a career. But I do have to step out. But I may be back here. If all things cooperate.
I hope so. I would love to have you here for the Anheuser-Busch discussion.
I would love to. I would love to be here for that. And if you have not seen the video that was put together by Midnight's Edge on this subject matter, you got to watch it. So if you as soon as we're done with this stream, go and watch the video, because Tom and Andre and everybody over the whole team put together a great video that breaks down exactly the barrel that that's an interesting word. Barrel that
Culture Casino is a real man of genius.
I wish. Anyway, I got to step out. Thank you guys. I'll see you soon.
See you, Culture.
Take care, Culture.
Take care.
So that's the Star Trek news, kids. So take it with a grain of salt, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that announcement here pretty soon.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe and join us.